Sipadan is the only oceanic island of Borneo, and it's a legitimate diver's paradise. It's one of the top 10 diving spots all over the world, and it is a special protected area where only 100 people per day are allowed to actually visit and dive. If you're expecting a video about how beautiful it was with lots of beautiful photography and footage, I'm sorry to disappoint, that's not what this is. If you watched the last video, like you've already saw, the quality of my action cam is awful. Though this is a story time about when we went with a local operator instead of a recommended or renowned diving company to visit Sipadan. Because doing it with Scuba Junkie turned out being too expensive for us, or at least that's what we thought at the time, so we got a recommendation from a friend. Semporna is the town in the northeast where most of the diving companies reside and from where you get to all the diving spots that are around there. Though it is not exactly the most developed part we visited in Borneo. The guy we were supposed to meet, his name is Farooq, had his own company, that's what he said. And there was kind of a website, but it was just kind of a website, and meeting him and generally just felt sketchy to me. Young guy, definitely local, barely speaking English, mainly asking his girlfriend or wife to translate, and they wanted half the money in advance. And we would not know what we would get at all, except for that they would take us to Sipadan. Maybe. It was Ramadan at that time, and they told us they would come back after Iftar, which is after the sun goes down and they break the feast, to show us the equipment and everything else. And we waited and waited and waited, and then they finally came. They took us to their village, or the part of the town they live in, and it was already dark, us alone there, all very simple houses. You might actually consider that dodgy, but for some reason it wasn't. For some reason at that time my feeling changed and everything started feeling very intimate. They literally took us home and showed us all their equipment with their friends, and even though most of the boys would mainly speak only broken English, they all were very nice. So we walked back, relieved, gazing at the stars and excited for tomorrow. The boat was a little bit smaller than we anticipated, though at that point in travels we actually never expected much. Farooq brought a friend with him, Azrov, who acted as our second guide and spoke way better English, which was again a big relief to us. It took us about an hour to reach Sipadan, and then we finally started our dives. At this point I'd like to say the guys were not necessarily the guides or instructors we expected, though we definitely have not been the customers or divers they expected. We were and still are bloody beginners, barely able to survive underwater, diving there at one of the most famous diving spots in the world. The current at Sipadan can be quite unpredictable, we've been told that before and also experienced that firsthand. Fighting our way forward, but sometimes being drawn back heavily, but always surrounded by beauty. We saw a lot. And even though the quality of my action cam is, oh god, I know it's awful, but I still can remember everything very colorful and vividly. Friends used to tell us that after that experience, we were spoiled for life. Definitely. I made a lot of notes that day, because I know how hard it is to remember the details after some time. And that was quite interesting reading through all this and comparing it with what I thought back then and what has actually stuck with me eventually. The way I like to think about it is that we gave a chance to a local operator who's trying to build his own business. For us, it was definitely awesome, incredible, memorable, all that. But we were also struggling. So if you're new to diving, if you're not that experienced, actually taking a renowned operator or diving company might be the better choice. But if you are experienced and you literally only need someone to take you to the island and go diving with you, show you around, it would be pretty cool to give some of the local operators a chance. And this was our Sipadan story time. First time diving our PADI course, and the last time ever since. And I love thinking back to it. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please let me know and rate on that like button, escalate down below in the comments gently, tap subscribe on your way out, turn around and spinning back first, that notification bell on your way out. Next time coming up, I'm actually not sure. Like that whole Corona thing, if you watch that someday into the future, you remember that? Us being isolated at home, social distancing, what the hell was going on, but we've made it through. I know we would. So next time coming out, seriously, I'm not sure what video I will make, but see you then. I hope you're stoked for that, because I am. I forgot my outro, I'm sorry. Only love pirates. See you then. Peace.